Hello, my dear friends. I continue my speaking with you, and what I want to tell you now is a very discussed thing about to whom Jesus Christ was speaking of. As we believe and as we have read in Holy Scripts, the Christ claimed that, and he not claim, he doesn't claim, he believes that he is speaking with his Father, the Almighty God. Nevertheless, I have claimed in my visions, in my videos, that Jesus Christ was Almighty God Himself in the human body. But let's forget it for a moment, that He was God Himself, and so He can't speak with Himself as another person. It's a nonsense. So one Almighty God was down in the earth, and another Almighty God was in the heavens, and so the two Almighty Gods are two parts of one Almighty God speaking with each other. Is holy crap, as you can see. So, but in scriptures we can read that the Christ is speaking with someone, and the Christ claim and name himself as the offspring of man, offspring of humankind, the son of humankind, or maybe a son of someone, and not a son of God. And he claimed that he is not directly the Son of God, and when one speaks that he is, when one spells that he is a Son of God, when one names him as Son of God, he answered him, "You say it, not me." It was denied. It only not admit. He is not admitting. I thought it was pleased to him, maybe as it may be pleased to me or any human who was admitted to be a part of God. It's a pleasant, yes. It's overwhelming true. It's inspiring. So he named himself as a son of someone, not a son of man, maybe a son of man, not a son of God. Why? So what I have to tell you, what I have to say, and what truth may be hidden beneath it, as my opinion. And I claim that my opinion is not true, and I not reveal some hidden truths and some hidden secrets behind it. It's only a working of my mind, and it's a logic, and it constrain me constrain my beliefs as entire nice building, because the thought of what did Christ mean in speaking that he isn't a son of God, and what did his speakings with devils mean, it out of point. It confused the believers, the prayers, the Christians. Yeah. So let's point directly in that moment. One, Christ hearing a voice inside his brain, and he deciphered or recognized it was as a voice of God, and referring to voice in his head as my father, why did you leave me? Why did you abandon me? He speak in the Christ before his death. It's very important, and this was not revealed, that was not understanding, and this was not explained for me directly, not in one books about Christianity, and one in other posts about it, and not by my friends and Christians too, as me. It's hidden for me. Let's talk about it, and let's talk about confusing Christ with the devil, and let's talk about his talking that he is not a son of God. Let's hearing my version as let's hearing my way of thinking. So the Christ was born in a human body and possessed genes which possessed each human in the earth, man or woman. It just doesn't matter. But the Christ, as a supernatural creature, maybe a son of God, maybe a God himself, he possessed tools inside his brain that that made him ability to recognize the willing of his body, the willing of his nature, the willing of his feeling, and he understand himself much more than we understand ourselves. Yes, that is why the Gurdjieff, the wizard Georgy Gurdjieff, had told that the Christ was awake and we all is sleeping, and he only was awake. It was a creature that was awaking, and so recognize who he is as itself in details. So he was hearing about his mind, and it was hearing the voice of his mind, and we ourselves can hear the very, very tiny voice in inside our brains. As we not patients of any clinics, we are not sick. We stayed in our normal condition, but if you believes in God and you believes in spirits, you can hearing that voice inside your brain that speaking with us. What is that voice? What was the voice inside the Christ's brain? As we remember, the Christ referring to his voice as a father. So we can presume that that voice named the Christ as a son. But was it the God himself? Why was it God himself? Where can we read about it? We cannot read about it. We cannot read that it was God himself. It's crap. Let's thinking as a scientist. Let's thinking logically. So the Christ claim and admit inside her brain, inside herself that the voice he was speaking with is the voice of God, but he was not as I claim, but it was the voice who named the Christ the Son. Who was it? Who was it? And what is the voice inside our brains? Let's shift in other position and remember about creating humankind as it was described in Sumer writings. The god Enki and the chief medical officer of the colony, the Anunnakis colony, Lady Ninursag, were created the humankind by the hands of Ninursag as a surgeon, medical officer, but it was the Enki's thoughts and Enki's plan and Enki's plot about the head of colony, about the Enlil, who was not known about his plan to create the Alalululu. It's a Homo sapiens as itself. So Enki was invented the way of creating, and Ninursag had done it. And as we probably have known, the Enki include her genes in the womb of Anunnaki female in this kind of clay. Remember, the man was created by a clay, by dust. So Enki include his genes. So as it was truth, as I believe himself, as I myself believe, we all possess the Enki's genes. Let's remember the writer of Frank Herbert named Duna, and other books about Duna theme, and it was the leader of opposite of the great hero of Duna. it was named Harkonnen, Chief Harkonnen, and the offsprings of Harkonnen was hearing a small voice inside her brain. It was the voice of predecessors of her. It was she was an offspring of great warriors Harkonnen and Atreides, who was fighting each other, and he was hearing the other voices in her blood, and recognized what she was. What she was, Harkonnen or Atreides, or maybe both. So it was the same. It was the same. It was the genes, the Enki's genes inside our blade, which was recognized by Christ, and he and me, and we all can hearing that small voice. If we can concentrate, we can hearing that voice inside our blades. It is the voice of our genes. It's the voice of our blood. It's not a voice from heaven, and we trembling and telling Almighty God, I hearing you. It's not. It's a voice inside our blade, our blood. It was of our genes. It was of Enki's genes. And somehow I believe that it is Enki who is speaking with us and referring to Christ and referring to you as a son or daughter. My son speaks he, my daughter speaks he. But we are hearing his voice claim that it is God, it's Almighty God, it's other person. It's not Enki. Because we are wanting to believe too. We are wanting that God himself speaking with us. Yes? And we confusing, and Christ was confusing because he was living in the human body and possess a human mind, maybe such supernatural mind, but not without mistakes, as we are all are. So he misunderstand the voice of Enki by the voice of God. And it was Enki who maybe seduced his and was standing him in the narrow edge of the palace. Yes, and it was a devil, as we can speak in scriptures. And yes, it was a devil. It was Enki himself. It was the spirit of Enki, and Christ climbed himself, I believe, into the narrow of the palace, narrow of the high. He was climbed himself, leading by that voice. Firstly, the voice said, let's climb and I'll show you something. The Christ was climbing, and after that the voice said, let's falling, and the angels hold you. And then the Christ answered, don't seduce your God. Yeah? And the Christ was believing that he was speaking with devil. Oh, it's very interesting. The Christ believe that the voice inside his brain is voice of God himself, and referring to its voice as a God voice, and in other instant he is hearing and the sound of devil's speech and believe that it was devil. It's holy crap. Let's forgive me. I'm very followers of Christ and very followers of Holy Scriptures, and don't claim that the Scriptures holds any lies, but I only understand how it was. I must and I have to and I want to understand. And my understanding is not disturbing me and prevent me to go to the church and beg Christ and hearing a voice of monks who is reading Holy Scriptures, and I is pleasing to hear its scriptures. But digging into the scriptures, I can and I want to understand. So, returning to our theme, I claim that it was Enki's voice who is framing in our genes. And it shifting our all minds. It changed all our understanding as we understand that it was not the Almighty God, because Almighty God is not speaking with us as I have claimed, as I believe. The Almighty God is not speaking with us. Why? Because the Almighty God has no part inside us. He is not part of us. He is not possessed cells in our body. He was not possessed the blood of our body. But Enki does. So it was all that is too much to speak, and I have very much more speaking with you about it, but I stopping. Let's you. I have a belief that I made you think about it. Thank you. Bye.